face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Greetings viewers, I'm Frau Namak and this is Pulse of Africa News. Stay tuned. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development approved its first agribusiness financing operations in Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire, the institution said on February 17. The bank granted 2 loans totaling about $153 million to companies active in the trading and processing of agricultural commodities. West Africa holds comparative advantage in strategic crops such as cocoa, cashew nuts and sesame, yet limited access to financing continues to constrain the development of associated value chains. The 2 loans represent the first step in the building the EBRD's agri-food portfolio in West Africa. Since July 2025, only 3 West African countries, Benin, Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire, have held EBRD beneficiary status. Before this announcement, the bank had not executed any agri-food sector investment in the targeted sub-region. The African Union plays a pivotal role in advancing peace, security and economic development throughout the continent. Marie-Cruz Ivona-Andeme, Equatorial Guinea Secretary of State for International Organizations at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, told Pulse of Africa. Speaking on the challenges facing African nations, Ivona-Andeme highlighted the link between development and stability. Conflict often arises when there is a lack of development, she said. We must ensure that our communities are prosperous to prevent unrest and foster sustainable peace. The Secretary of State also underscored the AU's effort to amplify Africa's collective voice on the global stage. The African Union is doing better every year, she noted, citing the AU's recent recognition as a member of the G20, a move that elevates the representation of all African nations in international decision-making.
Well, the African Union has been working very hard for many, many decades now to prevent and to mitigate conflict in the whole region, African region. I think there's much more that we can continue to do to support these countries, support these populations, these communities, to make sure that war is not brought about. You know, there are many policies that we're trying to integrate in our development agendas, which will give a better life for every community. You know that conflict comes when there's a lack of development, just to say in a very generic way. When there's lack of development, we'll probably have conflict. So we have to make sure that we could avoid having lack of development so that populations may feel that they are really prosperous.
She called for political courage and practical action in implementing the African Continental Free Trade Area. On the topic of regional integration, she praised Ethiopia's role in supporting the continent during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The national airline of Ethiopia, Ethiopian Airlines. So as you can see, it's a major player for regional integration. Countries that are small would have no way to get those packages from China if it weren't for Ethiopia. So that shows not only South-South cooperation, but it also shows how Ethiopia can play a major role in regional integration. So that's just a small example to let you know what I think about this whole about your question. And hosting here the African Union and all of the meetings that we come to attend here, it shows that it's a big powerhouse.
She expressed hope that African leaders would embrace the changing geopolitical landscape and take decisive steps for the continent's prosperity. Africa needs to take a stand and commit to doing better for its people. We must move forward and seize this new environment to push us further, she urged.
If you don't tell your story, it will be told by others. They'll talk of hunger, they'll talk of war, they'll talk of conflict, but they'll not say the things that are happening in Africa that are positive.
This is POA, a very new media organization in Ethiopia.
We have to be voice for ourselves. There is no one else that can tell our story better than us.
If it's defending African matters, then go for it. Go for Pulse Media.
This is the Pulse of Africa. Tune in, follow the journey, and learn about the news and what's shaping our African continent.
I am really impressed by the work that they're doing by telling the African story from Africa for Africans. I think it's definitely needed.
Please subscribe to the Pulse of Africa on all platforms.
The national government and Nairobi City County have signed agreement to transform Nairobi into a more livable, secure and efficient city for its 4.4 million residents. The plan encompasses a wide variety of infrastructure, upgrades including street lights, electricity access, water supply, sanitation, road construction, drainage systems, and solid waste management. Investments include the complete upgrade and expansion of street lighting, the improvement of electricity access in informal settlements, and the development of water infrastructure, including the Ngeitu treatment plan and the Giri Shauri Moyo corridor. Priority is being given to sanitation improvements, including a new 60 million litre per day treatment plant, last mile connections and long-term expansion. Substantial budgets are being allocated to road and drainage upgrades for existing and phase 2 projects, while targeted improvements will be made to each ward. Solid waste management is being strengthened through investment in material recovery facilities and related infrastructure. Officials emphasized that the initiative aims to position Nairobi as a modern, globally respected African city, improving residents' quality of life while enhancing the city's economic and strategic significance on the continent. The Southern African Development Community has deployed its emergency response team to Madagascar following widespread devastation caused by 2 tropical cyclones within 3 weeks. The mission aims to support national relief efforts after Cyclone Gezani and Efwaitia triggered loss of life, displacement, and major damage to infrastructure and essential services across several regions. According to SADC, more than 270,000 people across 18 districts have been affected, highlighting the scale of the humanitarian crisis facing the island nation. The response team, working alongside partners including the World Food Programme, will provide technical support in emergency coordination, search and rescue, and situation monitoring between mid and late February. Regional officials say the deployment is part of SADC's disaster response framework activated when national capacity is overwhelmed and is focused on improving coordination and ensuring timely delivery of humanitarian assistance. The back-to-back cyclones have once again exposed Madagascar's vulnerability to extreme weather as regional actors step up efforts to strengthen resilience and crisis response mechanisms. Shifting to business news, the Republic of Congo said on Tuesday it had completed a $354 million buyback of its 2032 international bond, part of efforts to improve its debt profile, according to a finance ministry statement. The transaction reduced the outstanding amount of the 2032 bond to $575 million from $930 million. The bond had been issued in 2 tranches in November and December 2025, marking the country's first return to international debt markets in nearly 20 years. Finance, Budget and Public Portfolio Minister Christian Yoka said the buyback underscores the government's prudent financing strategy and supports debt sustainability over the medium to long term. The move is expected to cut principal repayments due to between 2026 and 2030 by $240 million, the ministry said. The Finance Ministry added that the transaction drew strong demand from a broad base of international investors, several of whom also took part in the purchase of a new international bond issued by the country. The buyback follows a fresh international bond sale. On February 11, Congo raised $700 million through a bond maturing in January 2035 with a 9.5% coupon, its longest maturing to date on international markets. Amortization will begin in 2031 with annual principal repayment thereafter. Authorities said the order book exceeds $2 billion and attracted more than 100 investors. The final yield was tightened by more than 200 basis points from initial price guidance. MTN Group has entered into a merger agreement to acquire 100% of IHS Towers in all cash transactions valued at $8.50 per ordinary share, giving IHS Tower an enterprise value of approximately $6.2 billion. The deal is subject to shareholders and regulatory approvals, as well as the delisting of IHS Towers from the New York Stock Exchange. Currently holding about 24.7% of IHS, MTN intends to take the company private by acquiring all outstanding shares it does not already own. The acquisition will allow MTN to internalize margins previously paid to IHS, benefit from incremental third-party revenues, improve cost predictability, and unlock long-term value for its existing investment in digital infrastructure. Ralph Umpita described the transaction as a pivotal step to strengthen MTN's strategic and financial position, noting that digital infrastructure is critical for Africa's growth and development. He emphasized that reintegrating the towers enhances MTN's capacity to partner with governments and support national digital expansion. Sam Darwish highlighted that the deal provides certainty and immediate return for IHS shareholders while deepening the partnership between Africa's largest mobile operator and one of its largest digital infrastructure platforms. The funding for the remaining shares will come from IHS's existing cash of approximately $1.1 billion, along with MTN's available liquidity and debt. IHS shareholders will receive $8.50 per share, reflecting a 9.7% premium over the 30-day volume-weighted average price prior to MTN's announcement. The transaction is expected to strengthen Africa's digital infrastructure ecosystem and enhance MTN's ability to support network expansion, connectivity, and digital services across its core markets. Turning to sport news, Canadian teenager Victoria Mboko has withdrawn from the 2026 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships due to a right elbow injury, becoming the 7th player to pull out of the tournament just hours after cracking the WTA top 10 for the first time in her career. Mboko's withdrawal comes on the same day she achieved a career milestone, entering the PIF WTA ranking top 10. The 19-year-old's decision follows an impressive run to the final at the Qatar Total Energies Open in Doha, where she fell to Karolina Muchova. The demanding schedule of back-to-back tournaments took its toll. It's a lot of matches and the tournaments are really close to each other, so it's hard to try to manage that, Mboko said after her semi-final win in Qatar. From a recovery standpoint, doing good physio, having good fitness, and good routines help you last longer. Mboko joins a growing list of absentees, including Maria Sakkari. Thank you for joining us on Pulse of Africa News, and goodbye.